Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jérôme Dolé, and I'm the head of the entertainment division at WinMidem, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to this very special MIPTV. Indeed, MIPTV is turning 50 this year. Today, it's an honor for me to welcome Sophie Turner Laing, a true supporter of MIPTV. Indeed, according to my file, but I can't believe it, she's been attending MIP for 30 years. She started at Enson International and rose through the rank to sales director. She has been successful throughout of her career, whether as an entrepreneur or at a large public corporation broadcaster. Now, she is managing director content at BSkyB and has overall responsibility for Sky's portfolio of entertainment and news channels. Sophie will be receiving the MIPTV Medal d'Honneur on Wednesday night, recognizing her outstanding contribution to the international television business and to the global TV community. Sophie will be interviewed by Steve Clark, media writer and editor of Variety. But with no further ado, please join me in welcoming MIPTV Medal d'Honneur and BSkyB Managing Director Content, Sophie Turner Laing.
Thanks, chaps. I want to start by saying a big thank you to MIP for inviting me to speak on such a special occasion, their 50th birthday. I've been making the trip here to the biggest TV event in the world for 30 years, Lord. And without fail, I've always left Cannes feeling totally inspired by the people I've met, completely exhausted from the unrelenting schedule, but as enthused and excited about our industry as I've ever been. How did those years roll by quite so quickly? It seems like only yesterday I was selling my first show, Fraggle Rock, to Des Monahan. He was buying for TVNZ in those days on a stand in the bunker opposite ABC, which in turn was manned by a tall young salesman, Armando Nunes. And then we ended up finishing the night dancing on the tables in La Chunga. Well, things really haven't changed that much, have they? Over the time I've been coming to MIP, I've had a pretty good view of how our industry has evolved. I've worked in public and pay, in niche and mass market, in buying and selling, and in analog and digital. So I've pretty much seen it from all sides. I'm sure I'm not the only one who remembers hour-long pitch meetings where we would spend the majority of the time discussing content, talent, and storylines. Today, those same meetings last half the time and spend just 1 minute on those things, with the rest spent on delivery technology, copy protection, and holdbacks. Oh, joy. It barely even needs saying that every year has brought a seemingly constant flow of new platforms, new technologies, and new entrants to the market. Great for our audience, and great for us too, as competition sure as hell keeps us on our toes. But does that mean the people coming to MIP of 30 years ago, or even 50, would have recognized MIP of today? Yes, of course they would. The reason is content. That's because amongst all the change, the one constant has been the thing that brings us back every year, fabulous content. And that's what I want to talk about today. I genuinely believe that this is yet another golden age of television. Just look around. More people investing in content, great shows like Game of Thrones, Homeland, and House of Cards are raising the bar even higher. And people are watching more TV than ever before. And there's a very good reason why. Science. Bet you never thought I'd say that. The reason: content affects a part of the human brain that advances in neuroscience and psychology have shown to be the basis for human behavior, learning, and at its most extreme, our survival as a species. It affects our emotions. Now in its 24th year, The Simpsons have provided us with one of TV's greatest fans and creations, Homer, who perhaps put it best when he said, television, lousy accent, teacher, mother, secret lover. And he was right. Great content can satisfy our fundamental cravings. Just think about the sitcoms that have made you laugh out loud, the dramas that have made the hair stand on the back of your neck, the sporting events where you scream and shout, the sense of wonder you feel from a really great documentary, and all the times you've ever cared for whether that particular character lives happily ever after or meets an untimely end. Let's not forget that. That is what the very best content is all about. Engaging storytelling that captures people's imaginations by making emotional connections. That's the reason why people watch TV. As producers and platforms, we must never lose sight of the fact, after all, it's the customers that drive our businesses. We are merely the conductors. Content may not be as sexy as the latest TV platform or the online aggregator du jour. You can give viewers all the technology they want, but unless you back it up with high-quality content that people want to watch, you are never going to drive usage. And remember, it's in our nature to crave the things that satisfy our emotions, which content does better than almost anything else. That's why it shouldn't come as a surprise to any of us in the room when new entrants into our market quickly reach the conclusion that they need exclusive, standout content to succeed. It's an imperative business strategy, not a love of the liberal arts. At Sky, we understand that customers choose to join us for a better choice of TV. The evidence is clear. Every year since our launch, we've increased our investment on screen, and every year too, the customer base has grown. That's no coincidence. The best way to keep persuading people to join Sky and stay with Sky is to keep innovating on screen and raising the bar higher and higher. It's because content is so important to our customers that we've continued to put huge investment into it. This year alone, we'll spend £2 billion on screen, and we'd like to go further still. When we first started, it made sense for us to focus on sports, news, and movies, 3 areas in the UK which we felt were underserved. We're just as committed to getting better in those core areas as we were over 20 years ago. Just look at our new award-winning Formula One channel, or Sky Movies Disney, our recently launched co-branded channel that's already turned into a go-to destination for families since its launch at Easter. Both of these are great examples of how utterly committed we are to adding value to the viewing experience. But doing what we've always done isn't going to be enough. If we want to keep on growing as a business, to satisfy our existing customers and to attract more people to Sky, we've also been focusing on putting our entertainment channels on the same footing as sport, news, and movies. To do so, we've been doing 4 things. Firstly, we built a strong range of distinctive entertainment channels that offers something for everyone. Secondly, we built invaluable partnerships that are helping us bring the best content around the world to our customers. Thirdly, we've begun a significant new push into commissioning and production. And finally, we're using technology to bring the content to life. Let me explain in more detail. One of the great things about Sky is the strong portfolios of channels that we've developed. At a time when people have greater choice about how to get their content, strong channel brands are important today as they ever were. That's possibly a rather unfashionable thing to say, but a channel brand acts as an important digital signpost that helps customers navigate through all that choice. 2 years ago, we broadened our entertainment lineup by adding Sky Living and Sky Atlantic to sit alongside Sky One, our flagship entertainment channel. In Sky Living, we have an amazing brand that offers a route for us to talk directly to our female customers. Sky Atlantic has already made a name for itself in premium, high-end drama, in particular from our friends at HBO. We've also added Sky Arts, which is proving to be a really unusual and brilliant place for outstanding talent, from Sir Michael Parkinson to Sir Tom Jones to Lily Cole to Emma Thompson. Individually, each channel has a distinct and complementary proposition, but together, they offer customers a much stronger lineup that provides something for everyone. And what's exciting for us now is that our portfolio of channels gives us the creative freedom to acquire and commission the best ideas, and only then do we have to find the right home for them. But if we want to deliver the best content from around the world, we can't do that alone. As we all know, content is the ultimate collaborative experience. Taking an idea from its genesis through to final broadcast is a process that involves many, many people. Personally, nothing beats the massive buzz, sitting in a room, hearing a creative talk about a brilliant idea, the program starting to form in one's head, and then discussing the different ways that we can bring that to a reality. That's what we've got to try and capture. At Sky, we're proud of the partnerships that we've developed over the last 20 years that have been such a huge part of our success. Whether it's channels like History, Discovery, and National Geographic, they're all hugely valued by our customers. We also remain the partner of choice for first-run movies in the UK. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of our studio friends for their support and belief in our vision. I do appreciate that we can be very endlessly challenging at times, especially with a new set of rights requests almost on every market. So thank you for your patience. With your support, we've absolutely retained the best of the US crown in the UK, with shows like Arrow, Elementary, Revolution, which hit the record books last week by being the highest-rated US show ever on pay television in the UK, and The Following, delivering standout audiences, alongside much-loved stalwarts such as Bones and The Simpsons. And it's not just US shows, whether it's Andre Roux from ARG, the format My Kitchen Rules from Channel 7 Australia, or Romanzo Criminale from Sky Italia. Our appetite and ambition to scour the world for the most innovative content partners is never-ending. The partnerships that we've struck, including with many of you, are of paramount importance to us, and we're absolutely committed to strengthening those relationships as well as building new ones. When I say my door is always open, I genuinely do mean it. As well as expanding our channel lineup and building long-term partnerships, we've significantly increased our investment in production and commissioning. 2 years ago, my chief exec, Jeremy Darroch, publicly, luckily, pledged to spend £600 million a year on original production by 2014, and we're absolutely bang on target to do that. Stuart Murphy and Lucy Lumsden kicked things off by investing in a comedy in a way that Sky had never ever done before. In true Sky fashion, we didn't just dip a toe in, we jumped right in at the deep end. From a standing start, we brought 27 new comedy series to the screen, over half of which are being recommissioned, which is a great sign of how our audience has warmed to them. And it's brilliant to be recognized by our peers as well, with a slew of numerous awards over the last 12 months. The great thing is that this is just the beginning. Next on our to-do list is drama. Here, the key for us is to deliver a drama of super high caliber, and we look particularly admiringly at our partners at HBO. Whether it's series with huge cinematic feel like Boardwalk Empire, or brilliantly written like Girls, HBO delivers totally fabulous television at scale. One of our priorities is to commission and encourage UK producers to also think big. Earlier this year, our head of drama commissioning, Anne Mensah, announced our biggest ever slate with 70 new hours of original drama. The returning series like Strike Back and Mad Dogs, alongside new dramas like The Tunnel. We're particularly thrilled to be working with Canal Plus on this, the first bilingual English and French drama on UK TV. And I'm equally delighted to announce another major new drama co-production with Stars today. We're teaming up on Fortitude, a 13-hour drama written by Simon Donald and produced by the British indie 50 Fathoms. Fortitude follows the attempts by an apparently idyllic Arctic community to make sense of the terror at its heart when a British scientist is murdered. Adult in theme and content, ambitious in scale and visual style, it's everything we and our customers have come to expect from drama on Sky Atlantic. Doing new things, building new partnerships, and introducing new faces to viewers are all things that a broadcaster like Sky can and should be doing. Our position as a pay TV company allows us to look beyond the programs that you would traditionally find in the UK and introduce new shows that feel fresh and different. And the reason we do this all is for our customers. They love great TV just as we do. As I said earlier, people want their content that connects with them emotionally, and it's our job to give it to them. Whenever I talk to a creative, my stock question is to always ask them, what's that mad idea that nobody else was ever brave enough to commission? 9 times out of 10, it's usually the one for us. That's actually what led us to put John Hamm and Danielle Radcliffe together in A Young Doctor's Notebook, a comedy drama based on a short series of stories by Mikhail Bulgakov. It was John Hamm's passion project, and it was a perfect fit for Sky Arts. Of course, when you're investing £600 million a year, you do need to create a return on investment. As you all know, particularly us buyers, there is absolutely no such thing as a free lunch. Alongside revenue generated by subscriptions, we're also now creating returns through our distribution arm, Sky Vision. As we're the ones closest to the content, we feel perfectly positioned to sell it. We can also bring the broadcaster's perspective to the sale. Of course, lots of production companies have existing distribution deals, and I can tell you right now that we're not going to ignore great ideas just because the distribution rights are tied up elsewhere. That's not putting our customers first. That's cutting off our nose to spite our face. What we hope to do is to work closer and closer with talent at the beginning of the process, whereby distribution rights come at the end. And of course, the more revenue we generate, the more we'll be able to reinvest it where customers see the greatest value, which is on screen. Let's be clear. The thing that our customers tell us more than anything else is that they choose Sky for a better choice of TV. It's great content that makes them pick up the phone or sign up on our website. Alongside that, technology provides us with an opportunity to help bring that great content to life. I always hear a lot about disruptive technology, but is that really the right word? Do customers want disruption? Sounds rather uncomfortable. Do they want to binge constantly? Sounds life-threatening. Or do they want convenience, flexibility, and simplicity? Those are my chosen words. Think of products like HD and 3D, which offer amazing clarity and a truly immersive viewing experience. Or Sky Plus and Sky Go, which is now used by over 3 million customers to watch their favorite channels wherever they are, via the smartphone, laptop, or tablet. Rather than thinking about technology being disruptive viewing, let's think about it for what it really is, a way for us to enable people to watch TV they love on their terms. So in conclusion, what does this all mean from our industry? Firstly, in case you hadn't noticed, I totally love this business, even after all these years. I feel hugely privileged to have met so many people from around the world. Secondly, content is king, or maybe queen, and always will be. You can be wowed and dazzled by new technology, which can open up all sorts of fantastic new opportunities. But remember, it's the art of storytelling that engages and enthralls our audiences. So if there's one request this ancient aunt can ask of you in this world of email and video conferencing, let's spend the precious time that we have here during this week to talk about the shows, not the pipes. Let's be brave, take a bet on that creative vision. This is an industry of true partnerships and relationships. Let's keep it that way. I am super proud of what we're doing at Sky. So please bear with me for a couple of minutes so I can show you some of the amazing things we've put on screen over the last year. Thank you.
Love, I get so lost sometimes. Days pass and this emptiness fills my heart. And all my instincts, they return, and the grand facade so soon will burn. Without a noise, without my pride, I reach out from inside.
My name is Bond. James Bond.
Oh, in your eyes, the light, the heat, I am complete. I see the doorway to 1,000 churches, the resolution of all the fruitless searches. Oh, I see the light and your eyes, in your eyes.
Something here was the catalyst that produced the most spectacular explosion of biological diversity in the world.
Love, I don't like to see so much pain, so much wasted, and this moment keeps slipping away.
I think this is good. Imagine the whole Olympic Stadium doing that. It's only called the Mobot.
Tell the truth.
I did it!
Fire! Tell the truth!
I've never seen a dwarf go on a round-the-world trip on any programme.
The light, the heat, I am complete. I see the doorway to 1,000 churches. I wanna touch the light, the heat, I see in your eyes, in your eyes, in your eyes, in your eyes.
The Got to Dance champion, Lucas McFarlane!
Oh, dear, Roman Grosjean and Lewis Hamilton all coming to grief.
Her Majesty the Queen, 60 years as sovereign.
I feel like a Ghostbuster!
It's in your eyes.
Quite a tape. Okay, I'm Steve Clark, and you've already met Sophie. Where's Will I Am? Sophie, you've been coming to MIP for 30 years. You don't look a day older.
Oh, I love you.
That's a relief. But things have changed. Television has got, in a way, it's almost a different landscape entirely. Has anything sort of dropped off the cliff? Or have things just got better and better? I mean, you've said we're living through a golden age.
I think, to answer that in a variety of ways, I think it's obviously a much more complicated business than it was 30 years ago, where, you know, some countries only had one state broadcaster, and there was certainly no email. There wasn't even a fax. I think we used telex in those days. So it was a much simpler, calmer world, and I guess we all partied a lot more because we had more hours and didn't have to do emails at 2 o'clock in the morning. But what the explosion in channels and distribution platforms has seen is that actually more great content just keeps coming. And you just see innovation on all fronts, you know, where things can be created on the net and moved to on screen and vice versa. So the flexibility and the endless routes are just fascinating.
Okay, so as you've kind of hinted there, we live in this online age where we can access TV anywhere at any time on multiple devices. Does that herald the death of the channel? Because you've spoken about channel brands, the importance of channel brands, be it Sky One, be it Sky Living, being Sky Atlantic.
I mean, I would say, but channel brands, I think, are incredibly important because even if you look at viewing at the moment, the percentage of people viewing non-linear is still tiny.
3%, I gather.
Yeah, but that's not 97%, is it? And equally, you know, the fact is that I think if you're over the age of 25 and you've had a really hard day in the office, I'm not sure how much searching online. There's a degree of slight inertia, I guess, with the audience who wants it to be served up. However, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't really actively look at and really explore how those delivery mechanisms do, which obviously with Sky Go and everything, we're very much in that. But I just think that channel brands, I liken them to department stores. You kind of know, wherever you are in the world, that particular department store has a reputation for a certain type of goods that it's selling. And that's exactly what channel brands are. So it's our job to be very, very clear about what each channel stands for. So we can very clearly articulate that what a drama is on Sky Atlantic is very different to that on Sky One, because otherwise it blurs through. Because half the time people can't remember all the shows' names because there is a ton of new shows that get released every week. And so one of the easiest way to let them navigate through all that choice is through a channel brand, because they trust us to make sure that we keep that channel focused.
And channel brands, more than anything else, need signature shows. To define a channel as being a successful channel, how many signature shows do you think you need?
I think that really just depends on the channel. I think it kind of, science of today would say it's anywhere between 5 or 10 very strong brands really make your channel stand out. But even years ago when I was at the BBC, it was actually 4 things that usually made the BBC people pay their license fees. But I think it's important because we've got to make sure that the brands deliver and return. And that's why I'm very proud of really how we're doing on the comedy front, because to get such a large series of comedies coming back again just really help build the audience. And we've seen that with Ruth Jones's Stella, which has just been fantastic for us, and she's already in production on Series 3 now.
But how do you measure success at Sky? Because it's not only about ratings. You want to keep subscribers happy. You want to stop them from churning out. What are your metrics for success?
Well, we have a bucket of metrics, as one would expect. I mean, obviously, SOCI is very important for our ad revenue.
Does everyone know what SOCI is?
Share of commercial impact. Advertising revenue is very important for one revenue stream, but remember, advertising for us is our smallest revenue stream by a long way. What we use is quite a collection of qualitative measures, so whether channels are in the top 5, whether they increase people's propensity to acquire Sky, what they would miss if they didn't have it. So it's a whole range, because there is no doubt that you look at channels, particularly, I get channels that have a relatively small audience in the greater scheme of things, but they're very, very loved, and people feel very passionate about them. So whether it's Sky Arts or Discovery, you know, people really genuinely say that we love those channels, and that's what pay TV is all about.
But does it disappoint you that most of your original shows get fewer ratings than the big American blockbusters, be it The Simpsons or Modern Family?
Actually, year on year, our audiences to our own originations are up by 13% of audiences of 1 million people watching the show. And that is definitely in the ballpark of the American shows. I mean, you have exceptions like Revolution that came out of the traps with a big bang a couple of weeks ago. But I think also we've got to earn that reputation and trust that we can deliver great shows. And we've only really been at it for 2 years. So ask me next year.
Okay, I will. Now, international partnerships. You mentioned several of them with Disney, with Nat Geo in your speech. What's the secret of a good partnership, that it's an equal partnership where both parties feel like getting something out of it?
I'm tempted to say a lot of alcohol, but actually, the main thing is, I think, when you start off right at the very beginning, you are really clear on both sides what you're trying to get out of it. Because otherwise, the nuclear bombs go off in the creative process, and that is just a miserable experience for everybody. I mean, we're totally delighted with the tunnel, which is in production at the moment with Canal+. I mean, that is very rare in that we have a French director, a British production company, and a leading French actress who is absolutely gorgeous, which will help. But it's very, very unusual, but we've absolutely loved it because we're very close to Canal+ in wanting to do more in Europe, because we think that is an area that we can really, really push out. We don't have gifted spectrum, and we don't have the benefit of a license fee, but to differentiate from some really great British drama, because, you know, the BBC and ITV do some really fantastic stuff, we've got to find our own niche, and Europe, for me, and the world is actually is a great place to go and look.
Okay, sadly, we've only got time for one more question. This, as we all know, is MIP's 50th. Is MIP still going to be here in 50 years' time, in this online broadband age, when we can do everything from our desks or from our iPads? Can MIP survive?
I think MIP will survive, whether it's in exactly the same format as is now, on the pure basis that actually the best ideas and the best partnerships come from people meeting face to face. And, you know, that's what my plea in my speech is, let's stop talking about the bloody pipes. Let's talk about the shows, because that's what we're all here for. And nothing beats a great conversation.
And that hasn't changed in 50 years. Sophie Turner Laing, thank you very much.